Our lead story tonight, the government and Life Insurance of India Corporation announced their big disinvestment plans today in Mumbai, a 3.5% stake expected to mop up 21,000 crores. It would have been a higher stake sale, but economic uncertainty because of global events led to this manner being changed, is what the government said today. But they are optimistic that this will bring in major chunk of the disinvestment target which they had in mind for LIC. It's the next big ticket stake sale after Air India, which of course is a 100% sale. LIC is only 3.5%. But this is raising questions already from the opposition.
This is the largest IPO.
Life Insurance Corporation, or LIC, announced the largest public offering of shares ever in India. 22.13 crore shares from 4th to the 9th of May. Officials in charge defended the move. Given the valuation of 6 lakh crores is sharply down from 12 to 14 lakh crores just 2 months ago. The offering of shares worth rupees 21,000 crore or 3.5% stake is down from the 60,000 crore or 5% stake reported in the initial documents, and the delay from the last financial year to now. The government cites the challenging economic situations.
These are all guesstimates which are, I think people are speculating. The valuation process is essentially a discovery process. Mr. Ashok was telling about the embedded value. I think it's even difficult for us to decipher, although we have been exposed to that. I would say that this is a fair and attractive valuation.
However, critics of the government were not impressed with that explanation and questioned why the government is so desperate to sell LIC at any price. In fact, the centre conceded that the lower offering is targeted at domestic investors, as foreign institutional investors have withdrawn from the market.
Stabilizing market conditions, reducing volatility. That's why we actually postponed this issue from March. There have been, FIIs have, if they have withdrawn, the domestics have filled in. What is really a good time in the market? And if you really ask anybody, nobody can actually predict the markets. And one of the reasons why, we went down from 5% to 3.5 is that, okay, even if we have a little bit of a constrained environment, we can still will pull it off.
The Life Insurance Corporation of India.
LIC is the world's 5th largest insurer with 10.8 million policyholders. The LIC boss says the government will decide on how up to 25% of its shares could be offered over the next 5 years, which is mandatory. The response from the policyholders is encouraging, he adds.
Government will have to say, they are more to answer this query than me. But that is something, as I told you, may not happen very quickly. But PAN, I think more than 2 crore policyholders have, indicated and given their PAN numbers.
LIC is a mega divestment push, but the question is, can the government keep up the momentum even with the new reduced target? The government says LIC is just one of the areas where divestment is taking place. Will the LIC IPO be able to overcome the challenges of the current market situation, which has a reduced appetite for IPOs? With its unique position, will the LIC IPO be able to swim against the tide and reverse the trend that big IPOs have seen in the past few months? The LIC boss says he's confident of that happening and says everyone is praying. Let's hope the gods listen. In Mumbai with camera person Praveen Ji Rohit, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Well, no one can predict the markets, Mr. Pandey said. And today as well, the markets didn't seem very enthused with that press conference. Today, the markets extended losses, slightly losing 0.94%. The Nifty sliding by 0.94%. The Sensex also by that same number. Barring media stocks, all sectors ended in the red today. Asian markets falling amid concerns over rising COVID cases in China. The Prime Minister today had a meeting with Chief Ministers, a virtual meeting on COVID concerns, but it also became a headline because of what the Prime Minister said on rising fuel prices. He said he didn't want to criticize, it was a discussion, but he said it's an injustice that many states, mainly opposition-ruled states, have not reduced extra taxes on fuel costs, which he said were high because of the global situation in Ukraine.
The Prime Minister met with Chief Ministers on the COVID situation, but then on a live telecast singled out opposition-ruled states for not cutting taxes on petrol and diesel, whereas the centre had done so last November.
कि पिछले साल नवंबर महीने में वैट कम करने की बात की थी, सबको मैंने प्रार्थना की थी, लेकिन कई राज्य, मैं यहां किसी की आलोचना नहीं कर रहा हूं, कुछ राज्यों ने बात को माना, कुछ राज्यों ने नहीं माना। अब कई राज्य जैसे महाराष्ट्र, पश्चिम बंगाल, तेलंगाना, आंध्र प्रदेश, तमिलनाडु, केरला, झारखंड, किसी न किसी कारण से उन्होंने इस बात को नहीं माना।
The opposition shot back, pointing out there has been an excise hike on every litre which goes to the centre.
उन्होंने कहा कि पेट्रोल डीजल का जो भाव बढ़ा है डोमेस्टिक गैस पूरा स्टेट को ऊपर में उन्होंने दे दिया कि स्टेट को ही कमाना है। स्टेट कैसे कमाएगा?
Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray accused the centre of stepmotherly treatment and says the centre owes the state over 26,500 crores.
I think the Prime Minister was not given all the details by the concerned departments. I will not think that the Prime Minister will purposefully say this. Kerala, we never increased, since the last 6 years, we never increased the taxes.
What kind of a cooperative federalism which only has a one-way traffic? Cooperative federalism is a two-way traffic. Perhaps the Prime Minister should go back to his civics books again. What is he talking about? 26 lakh crores he has earned out of central excise, the central government has earned on petrol and diesel. Has he shared it?
However, the centre says it's spending revenue from petrol on diesel, on free food, free vaccines, cash transfers and rising fertilizer costs. It's not the first time a Prime Minister has requested states to reduce taxes on petroleum products. In fact, this has been a bone of contention between the centre and the state. And with a political point being made, we'll have to wait and see who will blink first to reduce the burden on the common man. With bureau inputs and camera person Pooja Arya, Sunil Prabhu, NDTV.
And here's what the main focus of the meeting was on. That's India's rising COVID cases. So we're at over 2,900 COVID cases in the last 24 hours. We're nearly going to be touching 3,000 soon. What's worrying, of course, is the pace by which this has risen. The deaths are down. That's good news that so far it's relatively mild. Positivity rate is very, very slightly up. The tests are up by over 5 lakhs. So that's good, by 12.4%. But let's just look at the way the trend is going, because India's daily average of cases are a little over 2,500. That's up 63% from a month ago when it was about 1,600 a day. And cases mainly now concentrated in states like Delhi, Haryana, UP, but Mumbai rising as well. So Delhi reporting 1,367 new cases, up from 1,204 yesterday. Mumbai reporting 112 new COVID cases. That's up from 102 yesterday. Mumbai, of course, is a city, but it's interesting to see how the rate is going up rapidly. And here's what the Prime Minister said today on COVID and vaccinations.
लंबे समय बाद स्कूल्स खुले हैं, क्लासेस शुरू हुई है, ऐसे में कोरोना केसेस के बढ़ने से कहीं ना कहीं पेरेंट्स के लिए चिंता बढ़ रही है। कुछ स्कूल्स में बच्चों के संक्रमित होने के मामले में भी कुछ न कुछ खबरें आ रही है। सभी एलिजिबल बच्चों का जल्द से जल्द टीकाकरण ये हमारी प्राथमिकता है।
But let's just move from what's really impacting everyone. Everyone's worried about it because, of course, it's not just health, but it's also an economic issue, the unprecedented climate emergency in India. So, Rishika, if you look at a map of India currently, a weather map, it's actually frightening.
Well, absolutely. What is happening currently as far as the heat wave conditions and the ripple effect is absolutely frightening. There is an unprecedented climate emergency in India, and we're not exaggerating when we say that, because the Met forecast is for above normal temperatures, not just today, but these are forecasts for the next 2 days as well. So temperatures are up across the country, and this is not a phenomena that we're reporting from a certain part, but especially in the northwest of India, temperatures are up by about 1 to 3 degrees. This includes Delhi, and temperatures, well, are expected to only rise by another 2 degrees over the next 3 days. So we have to brace for hotter days, at least in the coming next 2 to 3 days. So above normal temperatures, like I said, being reported across most of India. Take a look at that graphic that will essentially point out to you that this is a heat wave condition that climate experts say, would not have happened if we weren't actually seeing the very real impact of climate change that we talk about. And climate experts are also at the moment talking about the fact that one should brace for severe impact of climate change. And if you look at that image on your screen, it's very dramatic because it not just shows India, but it also shows several other regions in Asia in that deep red that actually talk about just how severe the heat wave condition is.
And Rishika, of course, when we talk about the heat wave impact, what are the different areas we're already seeing being hit?
Well, absolutely. The impact of the heat wave is being felt all over. And let's begin by what you and I are facing, which is a threat to our own health and well-being. We know that heat waves across the world claim lives every year. This is impacting people, the way, people's health is being impacted. Also impacts, economics. It goes way beyond the impact that people feel. It has led to lower wheat production, and this is coming in at a time when the demand for wheat is extremely high, especially here in India because of the impact of the Russia-Ukraine war. There's a record power demand that India is seeing, leading to power cuts in at least 14 states in the country right now, and this is also up. The power demand is up almost 20% compared to last year. Coal supplies are just not enough, and this is a vicious circle because a lot of what we are seeing in terms of climate change is happening because of an over-reliance on fossil fuel. But we're running out of coal reserves. There are SOS messages that are being put out by ministers here on NDTV today. And this coal supply problem has further been compounded by unseasonal rain in the last year that flooded mines, led to logistical problems as well. There are forest fires raging across North India, garbage dumps in the national capital that are also up in flames. And if you look at the hottest places, I'll just end with that. Vardha in Madhya Pradesh, in Maharashtra, I beg your pardon, was the hottest with 45.2 degree temperatures. And well, what's more, if you think this is only happening in the central parts, temperatures even in Jammu and Kashmir in most places are 3 degrees above normal.
Right, and of course, this is just the end of April, so we're just bracing for May ahead, Rishika, the not good news. And again, this is happening short term right now, but we know the long term causes for this is what we need to fix. Well, let's go across to what seems to be India's constant state now, and it's elections 24/7. So off the mark here is the BJP preparing for elections next year in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh. Akhilesh joins me for more on what's happening in the Madhya Pradesh BJP, and of course the Congress, well, now looking at least at saying, well, who needs PK? We can make some changes ourselves. So Akhilesh, over to you, because Madhya Pradesh, we saw Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan meeting the Prime Minister, getting a pat on his back from him this weekend, and now again they're all expected to be in Delhi over the next few days.
That's right. Tomorrow they are going to meet with the party president JP Nadda and also with the General Secretary organization BL Santosh. And the party in charge of Madhya Pradesh will also be part of the meeting. State leaders including Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Jyotiraditya Scindia, they all are coming to Delhi tomorrow to meet these top leaders. And we've been told by the sources that the BJP wants to remain a step ahead from its competitors as far as elections are concerned. We know that in the last week the similar exercise was done with the Rajasthan unit, where different leaders were trying to pull the state unit in different directions. So they were given a very clear-cut message by the party leadership that they have to work together. And as far as the Chief Minister face is concerned in Rajasthan, they are saying that party will contest on the face of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So BJP is unlikely to project any CM candidate in Rajasthan. But unlike in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh is totally different, where party has complete faith in Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan, though there are several leaders who want to want to contest in that position. But party is very clear that Shivraj Singh Chauhan is the face. But of course, there are some organizational issues like membership drive and also the micro donation campaign and the booth committees. So BJP High Command is not happy the way the party unit is functioning. So they want to tighten the screw of the BJP election machine. That's why this meeting has been called tomorrow.
And Arvind, over to you, because we're seeing the Congress now also revving up with the changes in the heads of the state units of both Haryana and Himachal Pradesh. Himachal going to elections this year, Haryana next year. So interesting, all this is coming as PK's been told no thank you in a sense, though the Congress saying its doors are always open.
Yeah, Sonia, in order to underscore that its business was not as usual in the Congress party, and the party is very serious about bringing changes in the state units. Congress President Sonia Gandhi has initiated changes in several states. It started with Punjab and also Uttarakhand, and now what we are seeing is the changes in the poll-going states. So even in Haryana, we did see the Congress President Sonia Gandhi changing the incumbent Congress state chief and then appointing Uday Bans, a loyalist of Bhupender Singh Hooda, as the state chief in Haryana, and also she has also initiated changes in Himachal Congress unit also. Former Chief Minister's wife, that is Pratibha Veerbhadra Singh, who actually won overwhelmingly in the recent by-election, she has been appointed as the Himachal Congress state president. So what we are also being told is that the party is actually negotiating between Sachin Pilot and also Ashok Gehlot in Rajasthan, and very soon we can expect similar kinds of changes in Rajasthan party unit also. Maybe Sachin Pilot can likely be appointed as the party chief. That's something that discussion is still underway, and similar kind of changes are also expected in Madhya Pradesh.
Interestingly, but Arvind, this is all happening. Sonia Gandhi very much taking charge. She's driving all the decisions when both Rahul Gandhi and some reports are saying that even Priyanka Gandhi Vadra are not in the country. So in that sense, what's happening in the top leadership? Because that's not changing.
Yeah, Sonia, in fact, both Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi, both of them are not in India. In fact, what we are being told is that Rahul Gandhi will be coming back only on 29th and Priyanka Gandhi is expected on May 1st week. But Sonia Gandhi, being the Congress president, she is saying that it's not business as usual, and the party is actually serious about preparing itself for the assembly elections and also 2024. And that's where we are seeing series of meetings. Even today, Bhupender Singh Hooda from Haryana, she met Congress President Sonia Gandhi, after which the changes in Haryana state unit was announced.
So Arvind, Akhilesh, thanks very much. As I said, India seems to be in a state of elections preparations 24/7. So some of the other issues of the heat wave is perhaps not being felt by politicians here. Thanks so much for joining us. But we have this exclusive. Nidhi spoke to P. Chidambaram, who's part of that panel reviewing the PK presentation. Here's what he said on the Congress PK breakup.
Why did talks between your party and PK break down ultimately?
Well, I heard your intro. There was no breakdown. We offered him a place in the Empowered Action Group. He said that he was not in a position to be part of an Empowered Action Group, and therefore the matter was closed. Maybe he wants to still retain his independence as a consultant advisor. See, after all, he is advising several other political parties, or he or his organization, IPAC, is advising. In fact, they signed an agreement with the TRS the day before we made the offer. I believe he is continuing to advise the Trinamool Congress.
Well, let's just look at some other national news quickly. Tragically, in Tamil Nadu, a tragedy as at a temple chariot festival, 11 people, including children, were electrocuted. This came as an as a live electric wire actually hit the open chariot in which people, including children, were traveling. An extremely tragic accident there. But again, raising questions, the issues of these live electric wires are just hanging. What are the municipal corporations actually doing? 11 people have lost their lives. Well, let's go across to some international news. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, the son of the former Prime Minister, late Benazir Bhutto, took oath today as Pakistan's foreign minister. His party, of course, is part of the opposition coalition, which headed by Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. PPP is the second largest party in the current coalition. However, of course, what the big focus will be is whether the new Prime Minister and his new foreign minister will actually bring about a change in India-Pakistan relations, or will it be anti-India politics as usual? And the biggest challenge perhaps which Vishnu, the new foreign minister, faces is what's currently happening with China, with the killing of those 3 Chinese nationals yesterday by a Baluch suicide bomber, a woman.
That's right. In fact, we've got many more details of this which are coming in now. So let's bring you a few of those details. Let's just scroll up to bring you more details. China has condemned the death of 3 of its nationals who were killed when a Baluch suicide bomber in Karachi, Pakistan, detonated a suicide vest in Karachi University. Now, this is a video that you can see of the blast itself. It's an attack that's been widely condemned, with Pakistan instituting an inquiry. Now, in a statement, Beijing today said the blood of the Chinese cannot be shed in vain, and that those behind this incident will surely pay the price. So who was Shari Baloch, the 30-year-old suicide bomber? She was highly educated. Her husband has posted a tweet praising what he called his wife's selfless act. He says, "Shari Jan, your selfless act has left me speechless, but I'm also beaming with pride today." According to reports, Shari Baloch was the mother of 2 children. She had a master's degree. You can see the picture of her kids. A master's degree in zoology and an MPhil in education. She was a school teacher teaching science. She joined the Baloch Liberation Army, which is fighting for the liberation of Balochistan from Pakistan 2 years back. Now, there's also this unverified video which we cannot independently corroborate. The Baloch Liberation Army says that attacks will continue to target Chinese officials working on the China-Pacific Economic Corridor. The Balochistan movement accuses Pakistan and China of plundering the wealth of their territory. Now, where does India stand in all of this? Well, in 2016, Prime Minister Modi, in a policy shift, referred to the Baloch movement, when from the ramparts of the Red Fort he said, "In the last few days, people of Balochistan, Gilgit, Pakistan-occupied Kashmir have thanked me, have expressed gratitude and expressed good wishes for me." The people who are living far away, whom I have never seen, have never met. So India did refer in the past to Balochistan, but they don't often refer directly to developments in Pakistan specific to Balochistan of late.
Right, Vishnu, thanks so much for that update really on what's happening on China and Pakistan. But let's just look at some much happier news. Well, a well-known actor, Deepika Padukone, is on this year's Cannes Film Festival jury. It's a huge honor. She joins a select group of Indian actors who have been part of the jury, as we can see there. It's a jury of film peers and greats. So it's a great honor for the Indian film industry that Deepika Padukone is part of it. And as we end tonight, well, let's just look at NDTV's Gen Next winning big at these media awards. This is for English news. More from Hindi news hopefully tomorrow.